Well, Dan Verton is a cybersecurity expert and author. He's written a number of books about hacking and cyber terrorism. We can talk to him now from Washington. Dan Verton, some strong words there. I mean, how are you viewing what happened?
Oh, well, I think the former NSA director, former CIA director Michael Hayden is absolutely correct when he characterizes this as a massive, massive win for Russian intelligence. There is no doubt in my mind that this is a major, major change in the level of activity coming out of the Russian intelligence community, directly influenced and managed by Vladimir Putin to undermine not only U.S. elections, but now we're talking about the potential for upcoming elections in Western Europe to be targeted in the same way. So this is a major, massive information operations campaign that has been launched by the Russians.
Now, the Russians are calling this absolute nonsense. As you know, they say they want proof. But if this has happened, how has that been possible? That the Russians have managed to infiltrate a country like the United States with all its military technology, all its security. How on earth do they do something like that?
Well, first of all, you know, the Russian intelligence services are extremely advanced in the cyber realm. So when it comes to cyber actors, cyber hackers, state-sponsored cyber activities, the Russians are up there, probably number 2 only to the United States in terms of their capabilities. But when you look at that and you compare what they were going up against, you're talking about political parties here in the United States that had email servers located in closets and bathrooms, probably set up by interns and other young people that were brought on staff. They were probably computers that were months, if not years, out of date with without the proper patches. This information was handed to Vladimir Putin on a silver platter in many ways.
And
the other,
sorry, do go on.
I'm sorry, go ahead. The other way that they go about doing this, and this is something that all organizations and you know, generally citizens around the world are dealing with, which is these advanced persistent threats that come across in the form of an email that look legitimate, and they're beginning to target now Western European politicians with these phishing emails. They look like they're coming from NATO, they look like they're coming from the UN, and all they have to do, those individuals, is click on those links, and they immediately become part of this spyware network for the Russians. And so they are casting a net far and wide in terms of their information collection operation.
And what you're describing actually sounds remarkably unsophisticated, very different to what perhaps some people are imagining. And we're talking about the sort of thing that we as ordinary people might face, a phishing email.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the Russians in this particular campaign, they're not hacking the National Security Agency. They're not hacking GCHQ. They're not hacking the intelligence services of Germany. They are hacking basically low-hanging fruit in terms of email servers at political parties, again, in closets and in bathrooms. So we need to really come to grips with the fact that our elections in the West are critical infrastructures. They're really important to our way of life and to our democracies. And if we don't secure them in that fashion, then we are basically handing this information over. Right,
to any hostile agent. I mean, you talk about low-hanging fruit, soft targets. Presumably they're going to have to get a lot harder.
Absolutely. You know, right now we're talking the very basics were not followed in many of these cases, and you know, it begs the question is whether or not they even had the appropriate staff on hand to do the protective work on these systems, and all indications are that they did not.
Dan Verton, very interesting to talk to you, US cybersecurity expert. Thank you very much for joining us from Washington.
Thank you.